Hello, welcome to the Bottled Imp. This is an Imp Extra, and indeed it is an Imp chat. We're going to be chatting about Middle-earth Festival. Now, for those of you that don't know, Middle-earth Festival is 3 days it takes place. I went up there. I didn't know about it. This is Julian, by the way. He is the producer of the Bottled Imp. My name is Ken Boyter. I don't know if I said that. For those of you that know, we do a fancy channel, don't we, called the Bottled Imp, and we review board games, fancy films, and fancy books, and we're hoping to do a whole host of other things.
Much more stuff to come.
Yes.
Much more exciting, fantasy-related stuff.
But let's not hype it too much.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully it'll be exciting.
Whatever.
So yeah. So this one is...
So what are we talking about today? What are we chatting about? What are we chatting about today?
We're chatting about... I'm glad you asked me that, Julian. We are chatting about the Middle-earth Festival.
What's the Middle-earth Festival? Is it a festival about core and rock in the centre of the earth?
That would be good. That would be probably more exciting.
Right.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. That does it a disservice.
Yeah.
No, the Middle-earth Festival, as you've probably guessed, being fancy, it's all about Lord of the Rings. It's about Tolkien.
Lord of the
Rings, not Lord of the Dance. Lord of the Flies.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it's all about Tolkien. It's all about hobbits. Yeah, Tolkien.
Not Tolkien.
Tolkien. I always say Tolkien.
It's lost all meaning.
Star Wars. Anyway, it's about Tolkien.
Tolkien. I don't even know now.
You're right. No, you're right. My way of pronouncing it is wrong.
Tolkien.
Yeah, I like the keen.
Yeah, you like to make things different. Carry on.
That's part of the show. We wouldn't be the Bottled Imp without mispronouncing
a name. Of course.
Yeah.
Rutger who?
Don't. It's Rutger Hauer. Is that right?
No.
It is.
Rutger Hauer.
Hauer.
Rutger Hauer. It's not Hauer.
It's Hauger, isn't it?
But I think it's pronounced Rutger Hauer. I think I even looked it up on Google with a pronunciation thing. Check out that episode of
Ladyhawk.
Oh, Ladyhawk. Yeah, of Ladyhawk review.
It's a good review, though.
Yeah.
Good. Anyway, we're a bit off track there. Middle Earth. I had no idea this went on. And the only way I found out about it was because of the UK Games Expo. They post up on Facebook, onto their Facebook page, a little message saying that they were going to be there. And I thought, this looks intriguing. So UK Games, they're not involved. They had a stall there. So I went along. It was the 5th and 6th of September. And
2015.
Yes, 2015. And it's in a place where you would never guess. I know you know. Do you know?
Did you have to journey to the centre of the earth in a steampunk style ship contraption
I got some eagles
in the Victorian era to get to the Middle Earth Festival?
I got some eagles to take me there. That was the best way to do it.
Okay.
They could have just taken the rings, flown them.
So they weren't gigging at the time.
No, they weren't. They were dead. Anyway, so it was just outside Birmingham, of all places. Wow.
Birmingham, Alabama, for our American fans. We've got quite a lot of American viewers.
I know we do. Birmingham in England, which is in the middle of the country. For those of you that don't know, it's in the West Midlands. And for me, it's not the sort of place.
Those in Manchester would think they're in the middle more, wouldn't they?
No, that's north. That's definitely north.
Scotland's north.
Yeah, but that's a different country.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. If we pretend Scotland's a different country and we just take it from below Scotland, then Birmingham's the middle, of the country of England as opposed to the UK. I was thinking the UK.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess anything north of Watford is the north, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's what they say.
Yeah. So it's So I wouldn't personally have thought Birmingham, home of Tolkien. But surprisingly, yes, he actually spent 4 years growing up around the outskirts of Birmingham. Hall Green, Hall Green, yeah. Hall Green, it was a little area. And back in the day when he was growing up, it was sort of the turn of the 20th century, it was very green. It was very field orientated, and there was the mill. Right. So a lot of places that he grew up and it witnessed as a kid and enjoyed and played in the fields, and the characters, the locals, you can track them into his writing, into Lord of the Rings. So that was good.
So, what is it? Outdoor festival? Was it in an exhibition hall?
No,
was it a kind of?
It was
It wasn't an exhibition or a conference. It wasn't like a.
No, it wasn't formal as such.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. Right. I really did enjoy it. Basically, it takes place over 2 days. I went on the Sunday on the second day, and to be fair, I didn't really know what was going to go on. The website wasn't brilliant, and there is a story behind that, because apparently it's been going for a number of years, and then the people that originally did it just had enough. They said, right. We can't do it anymore. It then had a break of last year, it wasn't on, and then new people have taken over. Consequently, they're still finding their feet. So the website didn't have a lot of information, but I thought I'd go along, and I didn't have too high expectations, if I was honest. I was thinking, this might not be good, I don't know what's there. There wasn't really a list. It said stalls and stuff. So basically, when I got there, I was pleasantly surprised. It was in a big field. Right. And it was nicely done. It was sort of woods were on the outskirts, so you kind of had the woods and then this field, and all of that was just divided up. It basically had tents, and you had stalls, selling jewellery and whatever, display weapons, that kind of thing.
But it wasn't just all Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
it was all. So it wasn't. It was not just a festival of fantasy genre, but using Lord of the Rings as a sort of centre. Piece to that, was it?
Yeah, the main bulk of it was Lord of the Rings.
You can do a whole thing with lots of stall stuff that's all about the one.
Well, when I say all of it, then you had most of it was Lord of the Rings and his work, other work. So yeah, but then you had spin-off things. So yes, you did have stalls that sold nice sort of little boxes, that kind of thing, right, that weren't actually branded Lord of the Rings or anything like that.
Right.
So yeah, you had sort of there was a tent that had the local wood. I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah,
you're hearing noises. They're working downstairs on the
Imp Towers.
Imp Towers. They're building
a library, a new library. We're getting
new cellar, new dungeon. Yeah. So you might hear lots of drilling and banging,
screaming,
but hopefully it won't pick it up.
Yeah. Anyway, so there was a tent that had woodwork there. That it was the local woodwork society. That most of it wasn't anything to do with fantasy. So they had figurines of an elephant or whatever. Okay. So it was, but the spirit of fantasy was there. So it, as well as stalls, it had activities. So you had blacksmiths making things. Right. They were actually, they had a big bellows. In fact, I took pictures of that, so hopefully we can edit that in. Show you that somebody was working this bellow. You had carpenters that were there building chairs and furniture that had a fantasy feel to it. Jewellery makers were actually making.
What does fantasy feel like? If you touch it.
If you touch it, honestly.
Or sit on it if it was a chair.
Magic.
So you sat on fantasy.
I
did. You literally sit on fantasy?
Did, yeah.
And it felt good?
It did feel good, yeah.
That's why we explore it.
Yeah, exactly. In all senses of the word.
Yeah. Let's move on.
I sat down because my feet were hurting.
Right.
That was the truth.
Oh, right.
But yeah, and then they had other things like storytelling. So there was a tent where people just took it in turns. I think they were organised. I don't think anybody could just bowl up and start telling stories, but they were reading from Lord of the Rings or one of his other work.
Mm-hmm.
And that was quite cool. Some were better than others, but it was the taking part that counts.
Yeah.
That's what's important. They also had, and this was really cool, people dressed up in costumes from Lord of the Rings. So you had orcs,
role playing,
bit
of dressing up.
Yeah,
Aragorn. It'd be wrong if that wasn't going on.
Exactly, but really impressive. Like proper, properly done, and proper masks. It wasn't. It didn't look a bit hokey or anything.
Right.
And then they also had a guy on. I can never pronounce this.
Go for it. Hang on. Let me get comfortable.
The Rohan. I think that's right.
That sounds right.
The Rohan. Somebody. Oh, cosplay. There we go. Someone's just. Yeah. Sorry, I was distracted by a message. Message from the outer world. Cosplay. Yeah. Yes, it was cosplay. Exactly.
So what's the Rohan?
Rohan is the. They are the horse. They're a race of people that are expert with horses. So they basically brilliant fighting on horses. They look after the horses, and they there was a guy on, a proper real life horse. It wasn't just two blokes dressed up and him on the back.
A panto horse.
It wasn't a
proper
panto horse. It was a proper horse, really big horse.
Yeah.
Full, armour.
Yeah.
I think he had a spear, I think it might have been a spear, and it looked really impressive. And he was just sort of trotting around.
Right.
And then what they did was they had like a parade. So you had areas that were roped off. That then they would, all these orcs and anybody that was dressed up basically went around and just circled around and it was fantastic. Bless you. And then that's Grockle Snook, our little imp. Yeah, he's got the sniffles at the moment. And then they also did combat, so they did sword fighting and prearranged fighting. There was also right down the other end of the field a Viking camp where they set up, and there's people looking like Vikings. So that's what I'm saying. There was there were bits of fantasy that weren't to do with.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it was. Yeah.
And they had
embracing the sort of the wider genre as well.
Yeah. So it's the spirit.
Otherwise, it would be a bit limited, wouldn't it? Perhaps
a little bit, maybe. But there was, there's such a lot to draw on from Tolkien, and they had a Viking, as I say, a Viking camp, and they had an area where they did their fighting. So they had big melee shows going on, and that was really cool. It was really impressive.
Fantasy's so aggressive, isn't it? So aggressive.
It doesn't have to be.
Well, I guess the storytelling tent.
Yeah, the storytelling tent.
Was there many people watching in the storytelling tent? Did it had
it thinned out now and again. It sort of it filled up and thinned out and that kind of thing. Yeah, but and that was a good point actually. I was impressed by the amount of people that were there. Right. I actually got there at 11:15. It started at 11 o'clock.
Right.
And there wasn't that many people there, and I was thinking, oh dear, this could be a bit of a damp squid. But it wasn't. There must have been 200-300 people, I reckon, in the end. And it was a really beautiful sunny day.
Yeah, so I mean, for a festival, that sounds like a very small amount of people, I guess. Yeah, but it's not a music festival, is it?
No, it's not a music.
It's a sort of specialist festival, but I guess it's depending on how big the field and the area was. That's
it fitted perfectly. Yeah, it didn't feel packed. It didn't feel uncomfortable. Yes, it didn't feel empty, like you're just walking around and it's all a bit rubbish. And it was free to get in.
Right.
So that was good. And there was food you could buy there. There was they had people throwing axes, not just randomly. Right. Obviously, an area where properly supervised, like a Viking axe.
Yeah.
They had badge making, so you could make
axe
little
throwing,
jewellery.
Badge making.
Exactly.
What else?
Oh, bread making.
Bread making.
Yeah, they had a kiln, an oven, whatever. It's not a kiln, that's clay. But an open air sort of oven that you could bake bread. They had music, that's it. They had sort of diddly-dee sort of bands that were on, sort of Celtic diddly-dee music.
Right, yeah.
I love it.
Some diddly-dee music.
Yeah,
good.
That was good. It had some dancing. Morris dancers were there.
Right.
So that was cool. So it was a lot going on. And also, though, the reason why it took place there was it right next to it was, again, I don't know how to pronounce it, Sarehole. That can't be right.
Sarehole.
Sorehole.
Sarehole.
It kind of
that's
is.
a different festival, was it? That's taking place at the same time. Sort of curry eaters festival, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. Sarehole Mill. It's an actual mill.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's a museum now, but it used to be a working mill. And in Tolkien's day, it was actually a mill. And he has memories, and there's a mill mentioned in Lord of the Rings, and that is where it's based on. And so there was a guy there called Wayne, he was the museum curator.
Do you have a sore hole?
I don't know. I didn't ask him.
Okay.
It'd probably best not to.
No. Okay.
But he was Lord of the Rings, Tolkien genius. Right. He was the expert. And he did a walking tour that lasted about an hour that was fantastic. It was really, really interesting, really fascinating. And we actually left the field and the mill. He took us round the mill and he talked all about, the inspiration and where, and some of the locals. And he talked all about, so if you look at Tolkien's work, you could see, that's where that came from. And then we walked off and we walked in. There's the Fangor, I think that's how you pronounce it, Fangorn forest in Lord of the Rings that's really spooky and evil. Right. And that is based on the forest and the swamplands that he played in. So we went round into the forest, and it's at the back of this housing estate now. and that was just kind of quite cool. In some, I got a bit sort of overwhelmed because I was thinking, actually, yeah, he played here, and this is he actually used to sort of pretend there were orcs in the forest, even at that age, and because he loved all the mythology. And he showed us where he lived, his Tolkien's actual house when he lived there, and it's nothing amazing. It's a nice little house, but there's no plaque, there's nothing to denote that's where he lived. And I said to Wayne afterwards, I said, if this was America, this would be a big event. This would be, yeah, exactly. This, Tolkien, one of the most influential people of fantasy, and there's hardly anything about
a blue plaque. They normally do the blue plaque thing, don't they?
Yeah, but he only lived there for 4 or 5 years apparently, so maybe that didn't warrant it. But it was one of the most influential areas that he lived, because a lot of it, as he was, and Tolkien used to go back, and the Industrial Revolution, was happening. And a lot of the fields did actually start to disappear. So a lot of his childhood, like my fields where I used to play, they're gone now. And you can see that reflected in where the evil wizards in Lord of the Rings, he starts ripping up the trees, doesn't he? I don't know if you know. Come on, you've seen Lord of the Rings.
I've seen Lord of the Rings. Yeah, of course I've seen Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
I've got the 20,000 disc box set.
Yeah, of course. So there is the Ents, aren't there? The tree. People, the tree shepherds, and it was just a fascinating tour. And so honestly, it would be great to interview Wayne and get his comments on Tolkien. That was really good. The other thing, I did actually purchase a few things. I did buy a t-shirt, which is, I'm wearing it now proudly. Anyway, I did do a bit of an impulse buy.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bit of a surprise for you. It's not for you, it's for me, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Give me a present.
Yeah. And I had thought there might be things to buy there, so like jewellery or whatever. I wasn't expecting this, and I did and ah, but I did buy this. Let's have a look. Woohoo!
Good Lord. Good Lord of the Rings.
Look at that. Yeah, literally, it is.
It's some kind of... It's a holder for your nose piercing jewellery.
That's right, for a big giant pierce. God, blimey. Imagine the nose. Anyway, no, it is a door knocker.
Wow.
Look at that.
Great.
It's a dragon. Come on, that's brilliant.
Lovely.
That's really good.
Yeah, no, you know me. It's
You're not into dragons.
Well, I like my share of dragons. I like Pete's Dragon.
Yeah.
They're remaking that film. Apparently.
Are they?
Yeah, apparently. So I'll be reviewing that.
I'll have to review that. Yeah.
This, I see it. You know me, to bring the other side to the fantasy opinion.
Yeah. Doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I think this is perfect for you, and you love this, and this should be on your front door.
I love dragons.
I see a lot of these figurines.
Yeah.
You go around every town. You go to Glastonbury. Every shop sells these little models and figurines.
Some are better
and sort
than
of
others.
fancy stuff. Yeah.
And this company that do them here. What are they called? I can't even read that.
Mispronounce what they're called.
Yeah, exactly. Look, that's Nemesis. Nemesis Now, I think is what they're called. I have seen their stuff about in other shops. I've always been impressed with the quality of the figures. I think they're really well done. They've lots of good detail. Solid, yeah. And it cost about 15 quid, I reckon.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was 15 quid. There was one for 10 I was going to get, but that was a big dragon face, and it was a bit in your face.
Yeah.
That was for 10. That was 15. Absolutely love it. So I'm going to have fun trying to attach that to my front door.
Yeah. Do you get fixings and fixtures?
You do.
Or fixtures.
You do.
Fixtures and fixings.
Yeah. I think you do.
Well,
I don't know where they are though.
They should be in that box.
Maybe you just a couple of screws.
I think a couple of screws. Yeah. But you want to get a nice.
Yeah. You could film it.
Film you. Should we make an episode?
Yeah.
Ken plays with knockers.
This is a family show.
Would get lots of views.
We would get.
If we have the right thumbnail.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, clickbait. Let's get into the world of clickbait.
No, come on. This
lovely.
Is
it's lovely. It's as you know, it's probably not the sort of thing I'd have on the front door or those figurines around my flat.
Yeah.
Because I don't tend
to.
Weird. Some people like collecting that sort of stuff, don't they?
They do, and I've resisted.
I mean, you don't have a lot of figurines. You have the books and the films and stuff, which is probably I understand more than collecting all the little.
I did get the limited edition collector's Lord of the Rings though, and got a little Gollum figure and the other figures. Can't remember what ones they were. But I do like it, and it would be something that I could get into if I had more space.
More space and more money. You start collecting all that stuff.
So if I buy something like this, it
but
has to
practical.
Kind of, that's why I thought
it appeals to you because you're,
and it's on the outside of the flat,
so you don't have to look at it all the time.
Well, it just doesn't take up space, does it?
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. But yeah, I loved the Middle Earth Festival. I thought it was a fantastic event. Hopefully, it'll be bigger next year. Well, it doesn't have to be really. Hopefully, the weather will be good next year. It was good this year, and we're going to be there. So
we'll be filming an episode live.
I think we should.
Not live. Well, maybe by then we'll be figuring out live streaming outside broadcast.
Who knows? Who knows? The budget. No, but it'd be good to go up there, get some interviews with some of these people. Definitely, do an interview with Wayne, who knows all about Tolkien. So I would thoroughly recommend it.
That's Tolkien for the.
So go on to the Middle Earth Festival website. Hopefully it will be better, and they'll start putting up information about when it's going to be and how you can get there and all of that. I think that's about it.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed that. Hope you found that fascinating.
Click like if you liked. It helps us out. If you like the show by clicking the like button and subscribing if you're not subscribed already.
Yeah. And we got over 400 subscribers now.
Over 400 subscribers. Yes. So approaching the big 1,000.
Yeah.
It's quite far away, but we're getting close.
We're
moving that direction.
Good stuff. Check out our other shows, our review shows on Fridays. Anyway, I've been Ken Boyter. This has been Julian. He's the producer of the show. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.